Is it recording? I don't know. Is it me? No, I don't know.
How many people? Oh,
Yeah.
Not enough. Give it one more minute.
you did share.
I did share wherever I could, but yeah,
Don't worry.
people talk a lot and I do very little.
It's the unfortunate truth some of the time, yes.
And
Well, good
obviously
evening,
there's
everyone.
never no two. And now there's water coming, pacified everybody.
So this is being recorded for the public, perhaps for some media, and also a request of some council members, which I've chatted to today. So if you do put your microphone on, I just ask that everyone be politically correct. And if you've got your camera on, I don't mind if you're in your pajamas. So my name is Jean-Pierre, and I'm a business and environmental technologist. I basically study and consult about humanities, tech, and business, and how to make things more sustainable and ethical. So some of the work I deal with has to do with social injustices, and you can read up a bit more about me if that's interesting at Jean-Pierre Murray-Kline.co.za. But I'm not having this meeting about me today. There's a constitutional infringement underway. I believe everyone would agree with me that it's been happening for some time, and it's also in my professional opinion that, and also many other professionals, that the severity and frequency of the water interruptions are going to increase. Now, also, I believe people will agree with me that you can live without electricity, but you certainly cannot live without water. And load shedding was a massive crisis, but it's going to make this situation that's unraveling, and it's going to unravel in the coming months. It's going to be a mega crisis for us. I've been writing about this for several many months. In this meeting, I'm not going to really unpack the technical problems around our water supply, or the lack thereof, but suffice to say it's a bit of a mess, and it's a mess that we are all going to have to unfortunately fix. We cannot rely solely on politicians or municipalities or businesses to fix this. So action is going to be required at home and in our schools, and also if we've got companies, if we're lucky enough to have our own businesses, also at the office. I also quickly want to mention a disclaimer that I'm not affiliated with any political party. Or if anyone who's maybe concerned, I'm not affiliated to the tanker mafia as well. And I've got nothing to gain from the work I'm doing here financially or otherwise. I'm exclusively here to encourage action. I really don't want businesses to be suffering anymore. We're caught unaware with COVID, although we shouldn't have been, and then with load shedding, and I don't want us to have a trifecta with water. I also don't dictate to people on how they should act, but I do try to set an example. So with that said, I'm going to talk maybe for 5 more minutes, and then I'll hand the microphone over to anyone in the room who'd like to have something to say or to share, and we can have a roundtable discussion, or as rounded as it can be on a Zoom session. So to this effect, and on the point of setting an example, some people already know that I've submitted a formal complaint to both the Public Protector's Office as well as the Human Rights Commission's office. Very happy to provide a copy of that to anyone who is interested. But I want people to know the more submissions that these entities receive, the more priority they give them. They treat submissions by citizens or businesses, especially SMEs, very differently to the way they would treat a submission by a political party. So Chapter 9 institutions are vital, and they are the only entities which can really legally force action on the state. So for those of you who've had a look at some of my posts, I'm calling on the an immediate request for a state of disaster to be declared, and that will help free up some funding, which is desperately needed for infrastructure, emergency infrastructure needs, and also to request a court to compel relief to affected homes and businesses. Now, those are two very complicated tasks in themselves, and I'm not going to get a chance to unpack that today. But on the website, South African watercrisis.co.za, which I've copied and pasted into the chat section of Zoom. If you click on that, I've set that up today for us, and I'll be updating notices. On there are 2 downloads, and you can download them right now and complete them and send them by email. I've even added the email address there. Every individual, organization, or business that reach out to these entities are going to make a difference, and it literally costs nothing to do. So that's the first nugget I want to share. However, we do need to do more. Remember, there were already people having babies last week in hospitals without water, schools shutting down for days, people unable to cook, use toilets, showers, businesses struggling, so forth and so on. It's a very long list. Sadly, not reported enough on the news yet, but certainly being shared amongst my peers. And over time, these problems become compounded, and this is why I'm jumping into action, because we need to act right now. Now, on to the point. I know that people are aware of political interference, political shenanigans is what I like to call it, and they're on there underway, and I can't deny that it's going to make our situation worse. But setting aside the facts and not even unpacking the situations or the details around that, and running through different scenarios, which I do scenario planning. We need to deal with the crisis on hand and not really put ourselves at the political generosity of these politicians who we've effectively put in charge. So frankly speaking, I'd love to see the council sessions taking place without any bottles of water or even the use of toilets, but maybe that we can lobby for another day. I'd rather share a few points which pains me to say, which are rather obvious. That's during a crisis, we need to use water more carefully, more sparingly. We need to unfortunately police our communities a little bit more. I know this didn't go down well in COVID, but we do need to report abuse of water. And we also need to report broken pipes. Many people are not doing that anymore because they think no one is listening. But we do need to take these sorts of simple actions. Again, it's not going to be enough, and we need to look at additional things such as civil demonstrations, peaceful and respectful, but public and loud. We need to gain the attention of the media, local and international. And the only thing that moves the state's attention on a matter sets it as priority, unfortunately, other than law, is embarrassment. And we need to point out that they have water. Right now, we do not. Many people in my street alone don't have water, and lots of suburbs around Johannesburg are experiencing the same. Which brings me on to the next thing I'd like to share. I've engaged with a law firm today, and I have asked them to set up and manage a war chest. Nothing like Donald Trump's, I'm sure, but a fund nonetheless, which will be as transparent, as methodical as blockchain. But we need to build up a fund to tackle things such as campaigns like the one I've just suggested, which is they have water and we do not have campaign. I do want to also say that I know that no one has got money to spare. I know this. South Africans in general are struggling a lot. I had a homeless person living in my house for 3 months, so I literally do know the struggle that people are in, and the type of work I do, I'm exposed to it all the time. So I'm very aware of the poverty around us at the moment. But the cost of doing nothing is going to be a lot higher than the cost of taking collective action, and each individual does make a difference. For example, if we run the social media campaign, they have water and we do not campaign, just in the Gauteng or Jozi area alone, we just try to quantify a value for that for ad spend. We're looking around 30,000 Rand, and that can get some exceptional traction. To print some posters and really paint the town red outside the SABC building with these posters is another 20,000. So 50,000 Rand, you've got a very good start. And if you use context to install a JoJo tank, which a lot of people are doing in my road, can range between 3,000 and 10,000, depending on if you're setting up for a home or business. You need to be very clear that the water cuts are coming. They're going to be greater, the frequency and severity. And businesses are going to suffer. That's why I would really like to encourage some action now. So yes, I want to create a war chest. And later on, I want to create a second one in phase 2, and that is to generate 250,000, and that is to take an action directly to the Constitutional Court. But that's in phase 2. Phase 1, I'm quite satisfied with over the next few days. There are also public demonstrations, writing to newspapers, being active on our own social media, using our businesses if we've got as catalysts for change, and most importantly, educating ourselves around the risks around this water crisis, how it's going to affect our children, the elderly, the poorest of the poor, our SMEs, which really need help. And we had a risk of civil unrest again. And we just do not need more civil unrest. And I believe that's where we're heading. Now, the city of Johannesburg does have a turnaround plan in place, but we need to apply full pressure to them. And if the taps do come on for a few days, which they will, that doesn't mean we need to stop putting pressure on. All right, so that's what I call my elevator pitch. And I'd like to hand the microphone over to anyone who'd like to add any comments.
God.
No comments today. I can see most people's
Hi,
microphones are on mute.
am I unmuted? Can you hear me?
Are you Kat?
Hi, I'm Kat. Yeah.
Hi, Kat. Yes, I can hear you clearly.
Sorry, I came on a little bit late, so I missed the beginning of your elevator pitch. But that's
It's okay.
okay. I yeah, I mean, I'm as frustrated as everyone else is in this moment, and I just don't know, like, we're paying rates and taxes for services which we are not receiving. I mean, yes, we can protest and we can use social media and we can write to publications and get on 702 like one of our guys was on this afternoon. I'm not sure if you heard that, but I don't know, is that going to make any change? Like, do we have a leg to stand on to say, actually, we refuse to pay 100% of our rates if we're not getting 100% of our services? Or are our hands tied and we have to just keep giving money into the great abyss?
Good question. I've got an answer for that, unless somebody else would like to jump in and for a response. No, okay. So, can we legally withhold our municipal rates? Probably not, but there is an option, and I've dealt with a few case studies where we don't keep the funds for ourselves, but we put it in a trust account, such as the one I've suggested, except not the war chest, but a separate trust account with a law firm, and they hold it until such a time as the outcome's been determined. Can we do it? Has it been done? Yes, it's been done in the past, and we can certainly investigate doing that. Will it make a difference? I definitely do think it will get attention, and it's perhaps something that we could look at doing. We need to act as a collective, though, and it's quite a thing. You need a bit of bravery to implement that and withhold those funds. A lot of people are scared of the law. It's like a tax revolt. No one wants their bank accounts attached by SARS. The municipalities could take legal action against us as well. But as a collective and with a good law firm backing us, it is something we could investigate.
Okay.
Do you want to
Thank
do
you.
that?
I mean, I'm thoughtful, and I mean, we are in the process of putting JoJo tanks onto our property, but I know that that's not the ultimate answer, and not everybody has the ability to do that. And if we are going to have water cuts that are just going for days and days and days, like, how long is that tank going to keep you going anyways? And yeah, you can pay to get companies to come and fill them, but again, like, why am I spending my hard-earned cash on just trying to provide a service which I'm already paying rates and taxes for anyways? So yeah, but I'm sick and tired. So I would be game to get on that bandwagon.
Will you please reach out to me using the website that I put in the chat room? There's an email address there. Just introduce yourself via email and I will keep you in the loop. It was something I've already got on our agenda to chat to the law firm about as an option.
Okay.
So the website was only launched today. We're going to put a whole bunch of options and ideas on there. And I'm going to spend quite a bit of time lobbying the general public. Although I'm from the Melville area, I don't know where you're from, but
Yeah, I'm Melville as well.
okay, so I'm going to start local and hopefully this catches on, because the whole of Gauteng is going to be affected.
Yeah. Sorry, I don't see anything in the chat. Can you put that web address again, please?
Yeah, let me do that for you right now.
Thank you. Sorry, and your name is?
My name is JP, and I've recorded this, so I'll be putting this on my social media feed. Let me just chuck that in there as well. The second website is my website. Quickly add my business social media as well, where I've been doing some posts.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
All right. Anyone else? Okay. So I've only started this process yesterday. I'm going full steam ahead. I've done a few of these. It's not a project, but I've dealt with a few social injustices in my career, and they always start off slowly. If you go Google how many bottles of Coca-Cola sold in its first year, you'd be quite shocked. And if they'd given up, they wouldn't be one of the biggest companies in the world. So these things always do start off slowly. I think that it's day 7 now for some people without water. And we're going to reach a point where people are going to be calling out and finally ready to take action. So that's why I'm planting the seeds now. If I can encourage just one thing, is to visit that website and to consider downloading those 2 forms, one to the Public Protector and one to the Human Rights Commission. They're 2 pages, so simple to fill out. And I've even added the email address to the website, and you can send it straight onto the relevant party. The more people that make contact with those Chapter 9 institutions, the better. Any closing notes, everyone? Right. Well, then please keep in contact with me. My contact details again are on that website. And I just want to thank everyone for joining this initial meeting. I'm going to make this video available on the website in the coming few work hours. So thank you very much, everyone. Have a good evening. I'm off to go to Virgin Active to go and shower. Have a good night.
Good idea.
Thank you. Bye-bye.